Good afternoon. Welcome to today's HASS lesson. Is Wednesday the 13th of May. First of all, we're going to talk about a map type that we use. So when geographers talk about distribution, they sometimes use the term spatial distribution. Spatial distribution is the arrangement or layout of a characteristic such as vegetation. So this map, shows us the different types of vegetation across the world. We've got deserts in orange. We've got rainforests in green, which tend to hang around the tropical area. We've got tundra, which is up in the cooler areas. We've got grasslands, and we've also got mountains. So there's a couple of questions here. What vegetation type is located at Kinshasa and Manaus? There's Kinshasa and Manaus. Answer that question in your book. Next, what is similar about the locations of Kinshasa and Manaus? That's right, rainforest. And both Kinshasa and Manaus are very close to the equator. So probably didn't really have to write those in your books because they told you the answer just there. Next, I want you to match the vegetation type in the first column with the correct description of its distribution in the last column. So A, for example, is a tropical rainforest. Whatever one of these matches a tropical rainforest, you write that number in the box. Same with B, C, and D. Pause the video and off you go. Answer time. Tropical rainforests are found largely near the equator where it is hot and wet. So that's number 3. Tundra is often found near the edges of deserts. No, sorry. Tundra is 4. Tundra is found in very cold regions close to or in the Arctic. So B is number 4. C, deserts are found along the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. Found largely along the tropics of Capricorn. Yes, they are, yep. Because see how the Tropic of Capricorn is here, and there's a big desert, Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, yep. So for C, it is 2. D is 1. Grasslands are often found on the edges of deserts. As you can see, all those grasslands are on the edges of the deserts. Okay, Mr. G got there eventually. World vegetation. Here are the climatic zones in the world. We've got temperate, tropical, and polar. So the tropical lies inside the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, with the equator in the middle. The temperate is between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle, and the Arctic Circle and the Tropic of Cancer. And then we've got the polar zones right up the top and right down the bottom. Vegetation in the world is affected by location, temperature, and rainfall. Let's take a look at the different types of vegetation around the world. Did you know that there are several main vegetation types? Forest, grassland, desert, and tundra. Each of these can be broken down into subtypes. Do you think you could recognize any of these vegetation types? Do you know where you might find any of these vegetations? Let's take a look. Forests are dominated by trees and woody vegetation. 3 subtypes of forests are tropical, temperate, and taiga. Tropical forests mainly occur in the tropical zone. They occur in hot and wet conditions. Temperate forests occur in the temperate zones. And taiga is known as a snow forest and is located south of the tundra in northern continents. Grasslands are large areas covered with grass and the occasional trees. They are dry areas. 2 types of grasslands are Savannah and Temperate. Savannas often occur between forests and deserts. Grass is the dominant vegetation in a temperate grassland. Deserts have very low amounts of rainfall, so they're not necessarily hot places. A lot of people think of deserts as just really hot places, but they're just simply dry places. So you've got hot deserts, which occur in tropical and temperate zones, often in temperate zones because in the tropical zones they tend to get more rainfall. Cold deserts are found in temperate regions at high latitudes, so often in mountainous areas that have very little rainfall. Tundra surrounds the north and south poles. These areas have extremely cold climate and a limited number of plants and animals can survive there. So we've got Arctic and Alpine. Arctic tundra occurs in the northern hemisphere near the Arctic Circle, north of the taiga. Alpine tundra occupies high mountain summits, slopes and ridges. So here again is the world distribution, which we looked at before. What vegetation patterns can you see? Vegetation is very important. It produces oxygen for us to breathe, protects land from erosion, it retains rainfall, it provides a habitat for animals, it shelters other vegetation such as crops, and it provides shelter for livestock. It provides shade for people, cools urban places, it produces food, medicines, wood, and fibre. It makes places appear more attractive. Climate and representing data. Data isn't exactly my favourite thing in the world. Oh, Coco, data is so much fun. It also helps us to explain and understand our world. Follow me, I'll help you. What is climate? When you hear the word climate, what do you think of? If you said climate is the average types of weather experienced by a place over a long period of time, you are correct. Did anyone actually say that? I'd be pretty impressed if you did. What do we do with climate data? People collect data on the daily weather over a long period of time, at least 30 years, in order to describe the patterns of temperature and rainfall in various places or regions. Why would you want to do that? It's very useful to know what to expect about the climate of places you may visit or live in. Can you think of something that climate data could help you with? I guess knowing if a place was going to be hot or cold, I know what clothes to pack would be useful. In this unit, you will learn how to represent climate data in graphs. How is climate data represented? So we've got rainfall on this axis here. We've got months of the year on this axis here. So this is the axis that doesn't change. I mean, the months of the year always stays the same, doesn't it? But the rainfall and the temperature is what changes. So what they do is they work out the average for each month. Okay, and you can see some patterns there. We get higher temperatures in summer. We also get higher rainfall. And that's in Cooktown, Queensland. So they get especially hot and rainfall in summer. Every graph has conventions to follow. Remember back kiss. Your graph will always be right. Border, axis, title, key, intervals, source. So similar to bolts. So B is for border. I'll run through this quick. B is for border. You always need a border. A is for axis, which I just talked about. T is the title. K is the key, which you can see over there. It explains what the symbols mean. I is for intervals. So that's the labels and the sort of amounts. S is source. So where did you get that information from? That's a big one. Okay, finally, you will have this sheet in front of you representing rainfall as a column graph. You've got a few different places here, and each of them shows you how much rainfall they got in each month. So the climate zone and expected vegetation type are what? I want you to think. Actually, it says use an atlas. If you have access to an atlas or Google Earth, Google Maps, you can look up each of these places and figure out what climate zones they are from, whether they are tropical climate zones, temperate climate zones, or polar. Okay, and then the expected vegetation, whether they are deserts, grasslands, tundra. Okay, all of those things. Off you go. Next, you have to pick one of those places and you have to construct a graph using the rainfall. So you've got the months of the year here. You're going to put a title there and a title here. So the title of the graph. Then you're going to put the rainfall on the side here and you're going to decide on intervals to put along here. What are you going to go up in? So I'll say that again. Choose a place. So I might choose Cooktown. If I'm choosing Cooktown, they get a lot of rainfall. So I've got to make my intervals quite big. I'd probably go for intervals of, 20 or even 50. Probably 50. So I go 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400. Okay? And then I just color in on there the rainfall. Okay? So that's it. Have a go at that. Choose a place and create your own column graph. I will see you tomorrow, guys. Happy learning.